Hello FG fam, and welcome to another episode of the Cincinnati Bengals franchise here on Madden 21 Next Gen on the PS5. We had an off-season live stream on Wednesday night. If you didn't make it, that's okay, because here today we're going to recap the off-season for you this Sunday. So here we look at what we had to go through for this offseason. Carl Lawson, Jesse Bates, both looking for new contracts. This was a really tough decision to make. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for the love of franchise content. It's what we do here on this channel. And continue to support the channel. If you've been a subscriber for a while, drop a like on the video, share the video, help the video get found in this YouTube crazy algorithm. Thank you guys so much. As we continue on, a lot of the little guys we tried to bring back. Brendan Bond would end up eventually signing with us. Same with Malik Richards. Eric Jacobson did not sign with us, but I think we later on went out and got him in free agency. So a lot of the little backups with that star dev we were able to bring back to the squad, which was very exciting. But the first order of business that we had to get done was bringing back Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates, a youngish player, 26 years old in the prime of his career, 5-year pro, 96 overall, superstar development, really big-time player on the defense. We had to keep him on the squad somehow. But unfortunately, it had to be done by way of franchise tag because he did not accept the offer that we had on the table for him. So we get him with the franchise tag. Carl Lawson was not able to be brought back. And then we made another tough decision, trading Tyler Boyd away to the Saints for the 13th overall pick. We also had to send them a 3rd round pick in this year's draft, and we got back their 7th round pick. So we'll see how that ends up working out for us. The Jets had the #1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, and as we turn around and advance the pick, we were really looking for defensive lineman, and Kevin Walden is the first player off the board. He is a solid defensive lineman, 77 overall. He would later on be discovered as a hidden development, so really good player out of Notre Dame. Jets really got a good one there. Then the Vikings were up on the clock, and they went with Paul Allen, another hidden dev right end, 78 overall. Those are two guys that really could have replaced Carl Lawson really well, and we weren't able to pick either of them up. Julian Towns, a free safety out of Florida, remains in the state of Florida as he goes to Jacksonville, and then Richards going to Pittsburgh. And then rounding out the top 5 was Sebastian Jacobs, the quarterback out of Texas, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So later on, it is pick 10, and we would trade up for pick 10. From pick 32, we give up DJ Reader. They give us Robert Quinn. And pick number 10, Robert Quinn had a hefty contract, but we would bring him into training camp, and obviously with no signing bonus, we could cut him. But we would go ahead and draft our replacement to DJ Reader in Gerard Sands, a 78 overall out of USC. 78 run stopper. He fits the scheme perfectly. Really strong, good block shedding, really good speed for a defensive tackle as well, and one as strong as him. The only thing he really needs to work on is some of those pass rushing technique moves, but man, Gerard Sands should definitely grow really well with his defense, and I am excited to see him on the field for us at only 22 years old. Again, I want to apologize for the camera being in the left side of the screen. Probably should have been on the right side of the screen in this stream, but, you know, we made do it what we had to. Then at pick 13, Dakota Henry was on the board, so why not replace Carl Lawson, right? Well, he's not exactly the speed rusher we would be looking for, but a solid player in this round. 75 overall, a 6'4", 311-pound boyo. 83 speed, 85 excel, so he's got the speed to do Carl Lawson things. He just really needs to work on those finesse moves. Strength is very good, and he can tackle for sure. Then our 2nd round pick last pick in the second round. We would look to trade that away. Atlanta had a pretty nice offer here, getting a third and fourth round pick as well as the seventh next year, and that is something that we valued. So we would go ahead and pick up Atlanta's picks here, move down in the draft, and try to pick with our 10th pick in the third round that we ended up getting from another team last season. Chad Ballard is a guy that we could bring into our running back room here. 7.5 combine grade for a power back. That just seemed a little too ridiculous for me to ignore. Out of East Carolina, ECU, 76 overall power back. He's 21 years old. He's also doubles as a 73 elusive back. So Chad Ballard can really play some football here for this team. 84 breaking tackle, 91 speed. He's got acceleration enough. He can truck, he can stiff arm, he can juke move, he can spin move. He literally can do it all while running the football. Chad Ballard looks to be a really nice pickup. Joe Mixon only has 2 more years left on his contract. Same with Davion Beckham. So Chad Ballard as a value pick here is something we couldn't ignore in the third round. Then our 31st pick in the third round, we would look to trade that away. The Cleveland offer isn't actually bad with a 3 and a 7, but I figure that they will be a better team than the Colts. So if we could get the Colt pick instead of the Browns pick, those were really the two I was wrestling back and forth. So we took the Colts picks for next year, hoping that they're going to be a worse team. Then with the 22nd pick in round 4, we were going to trade that one away as well, as a lot of our draft board guys were later in the draft. So we get a pick next year for that pick as well. And here we are with the 29th pick in the 4th round. We take Roman Odin, doubling down on right end. Speed rusher is his second leading archetype. 80 speed, 83 acceleration, 82 strength. He definitely has power moves. He's, again, got to learn a little bit more about the speed rush techniques. Then in the 4th round, again, with a 31st overall pick, we take left outside linebacker Rashawn Pittman. Pittman, very, very raw player, not going to do well in coverage. We would double down on the next pick with left outside linebacker Tyrell Harris, who happens to be just about the exact same type of player. But both of those guys going to end up being backup outside linebackers, maybe even practice squatters, depending on how things go. Nick Harris was a guy that we would take in the 5th round. He was a 66 overall center. Not bad, though. Pretty even keeled, just has pretty bad awareness. He can learn that along the way, and he'll be a pretty good backup for us at center. That's really what we were looking for. We're looking for backup offensive linemen late in this draft because a lot of guys just needed backups, honestly. Nick Harris we get. Then in the 5th round here, 32nd pick in the 5th, we look for Jacoby Miller, the right guard. Late 6th round projection. As far as talent, same thing with TJ Kennedy, but he was a mid-6 and projected to go in the 7th, so we would hope that he was still available while taking Jacoby Miller, who's a 65. They say we reached, but you know what? We needed the backup, and I think he's a pretty good player, honestly. Just really needs to develop. Then TJ Kennedy was the only player on our board left with the 32nd pick in the 6th round, so we went ahead and brought him in. He should be a very nice backup right tackle at 65 overall. So beefing up the offensive line depth is what we did later in this draft, and then don't touch that dial. We had 7th round picks to go over. 7th round picks, 13th pick in the 7th round. I let Chat decide which backup quarterback we went with to bring into camp as a camp body, and Levi Lowe is who they chose. So Levi Lowe coming into camp with us. Then we would have an offer for the 18th pick in the 7th, so why not take a 6th next year? Thank you, Steelers, even though they're a division rival. Mr. Irrelevant, though, we had to go ahead and draft somebody with the Mr. Irrelevant pick, and of course, Chat says fullback for Mr. Irrelevant. We go with Cooper Duncan, and Cooper Duncan actually turned out to be a hidden dev You can see my excitement there. A 66 overall, hidden development out of Arkansas State. He was the only blocking fullback in the draft, which is something I valued greatly. Put somebody in these tight formations in front of a guy like Ballard in a power back situation, and you'll kill it. Max Whitworth is a hidden dev UDFA, so why not bring in him at wide receiver? Then looking at some of the preseason highlights here, Jaguars score first in our matchup, 10-0. They have a lead. Then they score again in the third quarter, taking a 17-0 lead. One thing you'll notice, Joe Burrow played no snaps this preseason. So did a lot of other big players, as there is a touchdown finally for our Cincinnati Bengals. Later on, here's Kerry Roosevelt. This was a UDFA we picked up who we could have drafted with the Levi Lowe pick, and there gets a little lucky on some tipped passes. Second touchdown for 82, who's definitely trying to make a name for himself on this team. You can see he clearly did that because I called him 82. But it is Watkins, and Watkins making a couple of plays early on this preseason. 17-14 the score. Levi Lowe in the game with 2:14 to go, and on a 4th and 20, he overshoots Watkins, who was deep there for the pass. So we turn the ball over on downs. They get a field goal, but look at Levi Lowe's second time out. He gets this one away. That is complete. And then on 1st and 10 with 1:08 to play, look at the throw downfield. Unbelievable. That receiver probably earned a job. That's Mr. Newman with 2 straight catches. He gets a 38-yard touchdown. Definitely earned himself a roster spot with a couple of huge plays in the 4th quarter of this one, as this was the game that I played on Play the Moments. I would play all these on Play the Moments, but I played significantly less of the moments as time went on. I would skip some moments here and there. If you were at the stream, you would know. If you weren't at the stream and you want to watch the entire stream, I will link that in the end screen. So at the end of this video, you can go ahead and check that out. Levi Lowe went 3 of 5 for 79 yards and a touchdown. Colbert, 1 of 1 for 24 yards. And Kerry Roosevelt, 17-29, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's a very aggressive player, so sometimes it helps and sometimes it actually hurts. As you look at the rushing there, here's the receiving. Zach Newman, those 2 catches, 75 yards and a touchdown. Guy was doing his thing 100%. Whitworth, also a quality player. Quez Watkins is the guy. He had 2 TDs today. Big performance for him. And good to see Max Rollins and Josh Willis both on the sack list. Damian Dodson trying to earn himself a roster spot. He had an interception in the game. Josh Sweat played really, really well in this preseason game. Here's Colbert in the second preseason game, and there's a deep throw to the end zone. That is complete, not a touchdown, but that goes to Christopher Meekins, who's going to take an increased role with the departure of Tyler Boyd. Here's Roosevelt again, and a deep throw, and that's going to D'Angelo Bernard for a huge touchdown, 35 yards. Good to see Kerry Roosevelt playing well. And we continue on through this one. 24-19 is the score late in the ball game. And here a handoff to Ballard for the touchdown. Ballard wearing number 22, the number of his age. 31-19, the final score. And the Bengals get a 2-0 start to the preseason, including a takeaway in this one against this LA Charger visiting squad. Colbert, very happy about it. He was 11 of 16 for 164 and a touchdown. He played very well. Roosevelt was 7 of 16 in this one. Abdul Culpepper, another UDFA looking to get a job. He led all rushers, so definitely going to be tough to make cuts at the end of this preseason. Then you can see the receiving stats there. Nothing too wild. There's some sacks. Rudolph, Rollins, Sweat all getting after it. Isaiah Norton had a big pick early on. Then in the game against the Giants, I played considerably less of this game. Wanted to see what these players would do a lot in sim without actually playing, because obviously this is a play the moments type of series. Here is an onside kick. 33-30 we're down with 1:28 to play, and we should have gotten that onside kick. That New York Giant player missed it, and we really should have picked it up, and you can see how angry I am about it. But a 33-30 lead for the Giants, and they would go on to win by that very score. A lot of takeaways in this one, a very sloppy preseason game. 4 takeaways for them, 3 for us. Kerry Roosevelt was the best quarterback on the field, according to quarterback rating. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, though. Davion Beckham led us in rushing with 38 yards. As we continue to take a look at these preseason stats, Moody led all receivers. Whitworth with a TD. Newman with 2 more touchdowns. Zach Newman, man. Unbelievable preseason performance. Max Rollins, Davis Gaither, Willis, Sands, Dakota Henry all get sacks in this game, which is really, really encouraging. Interception. Isaiah Norton was out there again making plays. Malik Jefferson with a forced fumble and recovery, trying to secure his roster spot. Final preseason game, really didn't play a lot of this. 24-7 was the score, but there is a brilliant catch from Bernard. He is an absolute stud on this team. Here's a play fake for Roosevelt. Roosevelt looking end zone, and that is picked off by Anthony Harris, who effectively ends the Bengals' chances. They would lose 27-7. Jalen Hurts in this game, they picked him up. We actually went after him in free agency, but we did not get him. Archer Colbert, 3 of 3. We wanted to bring in Jalen Hurts as the backup, but we ended up drafting one and kind of having a little quarterback competition for backup QB. Eric Jacobson led us in receiving. That's pretty fun to see. The backup tight end really has come along since picking him up as a 61 overall UDFA. Fred Warner had a couple sacks. Mac Rollins had a sack and a half. This man, Max Rollins, is just killing it right now. As we take a look at the final preseason numbers, Kerry Roosevelt had 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but as you can see, the quarterback rating, Archer Colbert, is our best option at backup. I kind of figured that coming into the preseason, so he will remain the backup. Levi Lowe and Kerry Roosevelt both going to be practice squatted. Ballard, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Davion Beckham is now going to get relegated to very few carries. Ballard's going to be the power back. Mixon will be the everything else back. Zach Newman has definitely earned a spot as wide receiver 4. That is exactly what he's going to get because we have Bernard at wide receiver 1. We are going to have, obviously, Meekins in the slot. We are going to have T. Higgins as wide receiver 2. So, opportunity for Newman will be at wide receiver 4. As you can see, the most sacks given up by a lineman was 3, and it was Jonah Williams, who really can't lose his starting job right now. 4.5 sacks for Max Rollins. We got to find a way to get him involved, obviously, maybe as a rushing end, but I definitely want to get Max Rollins involved so that he can rotate in and possibly make some plays like he did in this preseason. I want to see what he has because he could really do some things, really do some damage. Isaiah Norton, obviously a really nice safety. I loved that draft pick when we made it. Joey Sly we ended up getting as our kicker, and Reuben Hart now, second-year punter. He did pretty good in the preseason. Max Whitworth has done really, really well. He earned a job on the team, the hidden dev rookie UDFA. So we bring him into the squad. He is going to make the final roster, and he will likely play as wide receiver 5 / slot receiver 3 probably. Moody, and we did move some things around. There's Newman. Moody has actually earned his spot on the team, but it is on thin ice because we have a lot of receivers making big plays. So it will be giving Whitworth a better shot there in that wide receiver 5 spot. So Moody will be that extra guy. We also moved some things around, obviously, on the defensive line. Dakota Henry is in that second spot for left end. We're also going to use him in some rushing situations, obviously. We're going to let Dakota Henry play defensive tackle 4. So barring injuries and all that other stuff, we definitely have some depth on the defensive front, which is what we were looking for going into the draft, and we were able to get it, which is very, very encouraging, to be honest with you. I'm happy with the way that turned out. And our linebacking core, we moved Dakota Torrance out to right outside linebacker full-time, as we are going to be running the 4-3 pretty much exclusively. And we have Jesse Bates at free safety. And lovely that we were able to bring him back. Very happy. Chat was happy for that as well. Norton at strong safety is going to be an absolute beast. He has already grown a bunch. Whitworth will be the full-time kick returner at this point because he really did a really nice job in preseason, and I want to get him on the field as much as we can despite him being the wide receiver 5. Wyatt Teller will be the long snapper. Mixon will be that third down back with Beckham backing it up, but Ballard has taken that power back slot because he deserves the carries. Slot receiver will be Meekins, and it will be Newman as well as Whitworth. So Moody getting taken out of that slot receiver spot. Torrance is not going to be a rushing left end because that's just not what we need him to do right now. We need Willis in that spot, and we are going to move this around. Josh Sweat is going to be on the right side with Rollins backing that up. Henry, I want to try to see if he'll rotate in sometimes. Sands and Henry as rushing DTs with Rudolph as the third one. Sub linebacker, we got Warner, we got Wilson, but we are going to get ourselves a little Dakota Torrance in that second spot. So that is where it should be. Jordan Lewis is the slot corner. Stephen Phillips and Calebon Newton in there. And there you can see our practice squad. We did lose a couple of guys, including that late lineman we took. He's going to end up on, I think Minnesota took him. So there you have it. That is our off-season live stream recap. If you guys want to check out the full off-season live stream, it will be in the end screen of this video very, very shortly. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. For the love of franchise content, it's literally what we do here. We can build a winner together. Please continue to support this channel. It is crucial. I love you guys, and peace out.